Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back. We're going to teach you how to sharpen fixed broadheads with sandpaper, and of course you're sanding stone as the base for the paper to sit on. We ain't using the stone. I am fed up. I've been working on these broadheads off and on for 2 days with the stone. I'm getting freaking nowhere. So I got to thinking, well, a stone is kind of like sandpaper, and sandpaper is kind of like a stone, but we need a dead flat surface to run these things on, otherwise we're just going to make a mess. Okay, so I got some 100 grit here and I've got some 600, and I've been working on this one and I've almost got it fine. These are Fiachi arrowheads. Now you get these off Amazon for not quite 30 bucks Canadian for a dozen, and I did end up with 2 defects. I still can't find my second one I had out earlier today, but my one is up here. And I think this is the one with the, yeah, this is the one with the split blade. So I don't trust this to shoot even anything with. And my other one is, I don't know where, it's someplace. It's not in the pile though. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So yeah, it's, oh, I know where it is. It's sitting on an arrow right now. Anyway, okay, so the problem with these broadheads, the problem you're going to find with any cheap broadhead, is they're not going to be the sharpest kids on the block. Now, I am not going for the razor sharpness of touch it on my finger and I need stitches kind of sharpness. I just want them nice and sharp, and they're going to cut paper. They're going to do the job on my prey. And this one here, like I said, this is the one that's almost really refined really well. And I know you can't really see this at all, but what happens is there's a lot of tool marks. There's uneven cuts in the blade from the tool marks. Now they're not only feeling really smooth, but when I look at them through the magnifying glass, almost all those tool marks are now gone from the edges of the blades, from the bevels, and that's what we're after. And the only way to take them down quickly and evenly too is we need something that's pretty gritty. And unfortunately, my main sharpening stone is not gritty enough to do that. So this is one I have been working on with both, but I still got a bit left over here. But I want to show you what we're doing so that you know what you're going to need to get into. And I know some people in the comments are going to be like, as soon as they see the title, they're going to go freakazoid on my head. So hopefully they actually watch the video and get the idea of what's going on here before they freak out. So you got to keep good even pressure down, moderate pressure, not craziness. But you got to keep it moderate and even. So you got to get your fingers spaced so that you're evening out the weight front to back here. And you're just going to do this. Ten times. Ten. 10. Okay, now we're going to inspect it. That's looking really nice now. That's pretty good. And so is that. So now we've pretty much gotten rid of everything we need to be concerned with. Now the other advantage to doing this too, not just for sharpening your broadheads, but taking these things that aren't really sharp out of the box anyway, even though some people are like, these things are razor sharp. And I'm like, yeah, well, my box must be a piece of junk because I got 2 defective heads, one with a missing weld and the other one, the tip is like where the tips come together. Yeah, they're separated. So it's like, okay, but the rest of my heads are fine. Anyways, but if you do a spin test, you're going to find out how well these things spin or don't spin. And that is also something to be concerned about. Now, I don't have an arrow spinner here right now, but I do know how to use the arrow spinner and put a piece of painter's tape against the wall and check the spin. But when I get a spinner, I'm going to figure that out. But I did test all these things for spin on my drill ahead of time, and that's when I found out, oh, I got some that are definitely uneven. So now as I get the meat taken down properly, I can see that even though there's always a slight bit of inconsistency in any drill, these things look like they're spinning pretty much dead center now. which means we've removed quite a bit of that crappy sharpening job, which does affect the depths and angles and wobble as well that we would experience. And I know that a bunch of these still have a bit of wobble in them, but as I've been working on these, the wobble is disappearing. But I thought I'd take a break from this and shoot a quick video for you guys. And that means if the wobble's disappearing and the edges are getting sharper and we're getting rid of tool marks, we're obviously doing something that is beneficial here. So now we're going to take the 600. Same process. Okay, now we're going to take a look at our blade. The tool marks are pretty much all but gone now, and it's looking like nice shiny steel, which is good. But let's see what kind of cutting edge we've got on this, because they didn't cut worth a darn before. Not bad. So a little bit more work. That's a nice cutting edge now. That's doing way, way better. Now it can go a lot sharper too, okay? And that means we stick now with, if we wanted to go a bit sharper yet, we stick with our 600. All right. Needs a little more. I think we gotta get some more sandpaper. Much better. And let's check the spin on this one. This you should be able to see. Now from what I'm seeing, that's spinning dead on. So, now do we call this done yet? I want it a little bit sharper. Now let's see how she cuts. I'd say that's pretty darn good. So I'm going to call this one done. And yeah, those 2 marks are now, I'd say that's about 99% right there. Just a faint hintness, which I think, for all intensive purposes, that's pretty damn sweet. Okay, so that's the good pile. Now we got to do this 9 more times. Anyways, that's the whole thing with sandpaper versus a stone. And like I said, I worked for hours and I was not getting anywhere between the rough side and the smooth side. I don't recall what grit this is on the smooth side. I don't even know if the box even tells me. Some Norton stone since 1823. Well, if it ever did say anything, that part of the box is gonzoed, so yeah, we're kind of out of luck there. But the stone itself is not doing me any help, at least not with these. For sharpening a knife, that's one thing, works fantastic. But for doing these, it doesn't seem to want to do any good for me. But combination of 100 grit and 600, yeah, doing a wonderful job. I'm quite happy with the results. Give it a try. Don't knock it until you try it. That's the big thing here, okay? Like, I'm no top expert in sharpening broadheads, but these are fixed broadheads. And I looked at a couple of videos on how to sharpen fixed blade broadheads like this, even if they're all 100% solid, you know, no vent holes. And they show, you know, you go over the stones, you know, different grits of stones and stuff, until you finally get down to a strop. And you just put moderate pressure, keep it even, and you stroke forward, like every single one of them. Like, just don't because you're not doing anything. You gotta go forward and just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we take a look and we inspect it. Now this is one that definitely needs a hell of a lot of work, but you get the idea, right? So even on the 100 grit, you're still going to want to start with, you know, probably 12 by 12 by 12, and then check it, look for tool marks, 12 by 12 by 12, look for uneven tool marks as well. You're going to see the dippity-doo-dahs, which means that thing is not flat like it should be, which means it's not going to fly right either, because it's going to offset weights. Because your scale is only going to tell you the actual grain rate of the entire weight. It's not going to account for off weights, you know. So now this is our one that's done. And it's 100.9. I actually pulled 1 grain out of this head. So I am right, like I'm 0.9 of a grain off of 100, which these are. Okay, so that did take some weight off. This one here, this is like 101.2. This one should get down to pretty much about the same or close to it by the time I'm done refining it. Okay, and then we just keep going here. 102.3, that's going to take a lot probably. And we still might not get all that much. Even if we drop a grain off, that's closer to 100. This is a 102. That's a 103. Like, the weights are not consistent. 103 again. 102 on the button. 1015. 1014. 100.7. Now, if I take a look at this one, because maybe I touched this one already. Actually, yeah, I did play with this one a little bit. It still has a lot more left over. I can see the uneven edges. Like, I can see deep wells and shallow wells, you know, within the cutting edge, and that's not good. That's crappy workmanship. But I mean, what did you expect anyways on Amazon for under $30 for a dozen broadheads? Now, I'm not going to trust these things for shooting a deer with, but I'll definitely trust them for turkey and other small game. So at least they're not a waste of money, okay? But you are going to be spending a lot of time sharpening these things up, and it's going to take you literally forever with a stone. But still get a stone if you don't have one already. Get a stone because you need that perfect flat surface to run across. And get your sandpaper as close as possible to the exact length of the stone so you don't touch the stone. And then moderate pressure, you know, keep it even on there. Okay, that's a big, huge thing there. You got to keep that pressure even so the entire blade gets touched as it's coming across the stone, and away you go. All right, now if you want to go for the whole multi-stone thing, yeah, you can do that. And you're going to be starting off with your roughest stone out of the kit. It's going to cost you a lot of money for those stone kits, but it's kind of your thing. I like the cheaper route on a budget, and some sandpaper doesn't cost that much, and I can sharpen up all my broadheads and get nice cutting edges on them. As we can see, our last cuts did pretty nice deep cuts pretty easily, and we're just using 100 and 600 grit. So I gotta go to the hardware store and get myself some more sandpaper because that works really good. Anyway, you never know what's gonna work. So anyway, there you go. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. See you in the next one.